Welcome to the Shakaama Live Show with your host, Shakaama. This is a free video. What do I mean by free? There's no advertisement on it. This is an op-ed by yours truly, Shakaama. It's in the form of a poem, When You're Liberal. I have launched a new T-shirt campaign called When You're Liberal. You can buy t-shirts, hoodies, pullovers, sweatshirts, tank tops, all with the logo when you're liberal. And you'll figure it out here in a second. And mugs too. And I have it in the extra large store too. So check that out. If I am successful, and what's successful? If about 20 of you all buy t-shirts and stuff from the merch stores, then I'll continue this format. I'll just make something and just launch a t-shirt campaign that coincides with the video, and I will consider it successful if 20 to 50 people buy, 20 to 1,000 really, buy the t-shirts and stuff. I will consider this successful. So let's get on with the poem to end all poems. There are no advertisements, so I'm not getting any money from this video at all. Zero, as it stands right now. When you categorize everyday living as pollution and hype it up to mean it's affecting the planet, that's when people call you crazy. But when you take in a step further and say government has the answer and that everyone needs to pay the government on top of the taxes you already have, that's when people call you crazy. When you're hysterical about everyday living and say it's the reason you made up falsified data showing the planet is changing, whether it's changing temperatures are changing when in general they are not any more than ordinary, which they ordinarily do change, and people go to jail for fraud and you hide it, that's when people call you crazy. When you have to change your hysteria from global warming to climate change because the earth not only didn't warm for over 15 years, and you lied about your prediction, that's when people call you crazy. When you say entire countries have to forcefully agree to your hysterical proposal of world's government being funded by the gigantic climate change tax, and the poor black nations of the planet are the ones holding the tab for all the white countries, along with the United States, that's when people call you a bigot and crazy. When corporations are destroying the rainforest and you are literally silent and even hiding the fact, yet out of the other side of your mouth insulting people for driving the cleanest, lowest emission vehicles that the latest technology can buy, that's when people call you hysterical and a hypocrite and crazy. When corporations are seen leaving the back door of the building and you suddenly tell the U.S. taxpayers about your brand new great idea of how they have to pay a new $30,000 extra a year for climate change, especially hitting hardest the poor, whom you pretend to fight for, that's when people call you a conniving snake and crazy. When your liberal friends go camp out in New York, poop on the sidewalk, and protest Wall Street corporations, all while using iPhones, and suddenly it comes out that George Soros was behind it all, and that supposed grassroots protest 100% adopts climate change, that's when people call you low down, dirty scoundrels and crazy. When the news finally discovers that veganism destroys animal habitats directly, to the tune of far more damaging than all of pig, cow, chicken raising, and butcher houses combined, that's when people call you crazy. When a tiny segment of the population, less than 1%, demands respect, honor, extra rights, and privileges, and have governments try to force private citizens and private businesses to go along with it by force, yet turn around and are constantly sent to prison for numerous disgusting acts covered up by the news, that's when people call you crazy. When a segment of the population that is actually the majority demands to be called a minority legally and constantly promote the idea that they are victims, are oppressed, and demand respect, honor, and privileges over the actual minority to the point of rendering them poor, losing their jobs, being thrown in jail, all because of your pretense, that's when people call you crazy. When a segment of the population demands that a religion be forced to perform services for them in direct conflict with their religious beliefs by force, by government, of private citizens, and it takes the most liberal Supreme Court ever in the history of the country to say, no, you can't do that. That's when people call you crazy. When you start a movement accusing men of doing something criminal, when all data indicates that less than 1% of men ever do that, and are mostly behind bars for it, but you pretend through your propaganda that all men are doing it, and then start putting men on trial for it, and then come to find out that not only did it not happen the way you said it did, but that it didn't happen at all, and it's finally leaked that every single major case in your movement was a lie, that's when people call you hysterical and crazy. When you chain yourself to a smokestack and declare that it is the biggest polluter of all time, and it's discovered that literally water vapor is coming out of the smokestacks, that's when people call you hysterical and crazy. When you declare hysterically that the ice is melting and that the oceans are rising and that there are no icebergs anymore and polar bears are dying, and then it's revealed you froze to death and that the polar bear's population is having its biggest increase in over 100 years, that's when people call you crazy. When you declare that it's a woman's decision to end the life of an unborn baby because your movement has declared that the baby isn't human, unfit for anyone to defend it, and then it comes out that the very women doing this have an astronomically high rate of ending their lives due to directly this propaganda and their decision to believe it, that's when people call you crazy. Leave a comment below. Be sure to click up the thumbs up or the thumbs down. Doesn't matter. Thumbs up and thumbs down simply means that you're interacting with the video. So go ahead and interact however you feel. It all means the same thing to the computer. All it means is a 1. So click whichever one that you like. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Did you know that? Leave a comment. That's interaction. Share the video. That's interaction. Subscribe. That's interaction. Favorite the video. That's interaction. Add the video to a playlist. That's interaction. Thank you all for watching. I hope the little poem or the speech was moving to you, and everything in it is true, and you can actually go look up everything that was said in each paragraph. Thank you all for watching so much.